This week on the SA Rugby Oak podcast. What a dream phone call. You win the URC in your home stadium of Cape Town. You lift that trophy. You get Rusty on the phone, who took you to Munster in the first place to tell you can be a champion.
But for him to then go, listen, Dwayne, he's up. And he's round the side, but try to. I mean, that's only just a little fraction of what he's done.
A brown card, if you will.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't think.
That is the best story. Welcome to the SA Rugby Oak podcast with me, Matt, the SA Rugby Oak, and the legend, Try-Time George.
How's it going? Are you good, Matt?
I'm all good, baby. First podcast of the season. Big cheers for you, my son.
Ching ching.
Delicious. Oh, for God's sake. For those of you who are not watching on YouTube, Try-Time George has just downed his pint to start off the pod. Unbelievable scenes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get straight into this. What everybody has been waiting for this week. Coach Jacques and Rassie have announced the Springbok World Cup squad. A little bit weird feelings after it. Lots to talk about. A couple of injury omissions. Let's head straight into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit straight into it. Yeah, Matt. I'm gonna go and talk to you about some forwards, some of the big boys, the beef. We'll start off with props. Props. They have a soft spot in my heart. Being an ex-prop, it doesn't look like it anymore because I'm obviously super trim. But anyway, I digress. the proppies. So they got Spicy Plum, Stephen Kitsoff, Vinnie Koch, Frans Mohaber, Oxenchair, and Trevor Nyakanya. Absolute units. I don't know if you get 5 better props in the world. Favorite for me, Spicy Plum, Stephen Kitsoff. Just the way he's a breakdown threat, a scrummaging unit, and also the guy that are under the ball. To tackle.
I think he's actually one of the best rugby players on the planet, not necessarily just props on the planet, best rugby players. The guy's skill is outrageous. His defense, his pilfering of the ball. I mean, he's a new age style of prop, but I think he's been leading the way in getting props to play like that. You know, it's unbelievable where he's come from I think 2012 in the Stormers. You know, launching his career from there. Obviously, 2015 got his time at the World Cup. Second World Cup, he took home the gold and was essential in the bomb squad. I mean, whoever thought the bench could be the coolest position in rugby? But you know, Stephen Kitsoff, Malcolm Marx, all those boys, they made it happen. Look, the glaring omission here, and I feel sorry for the guy, is Thomas du Toit from the Sharks. Obviously, one of the dirt trackers that went to the 2019 World Cup. Really thought he'd push on in the last 4 years and get into the squad. And I think, you know, he hasn't done much wrong. So you got to feel for the guy. He's going to be waiting in the wings. But geez, what a nice conundrum for the coaches to have probably about 7 or 8 world-class props.
Yeah, I was about to say, to be fair, the whole squad, we've got a conundrum. Bar a couple positions here or there, but for the coaching staff to have this kind of difficulty choosing a squad. I'm so happy I'm not a Springbok selector because hell of a job. But yeah, there's one debutant, World Cup debutant we got in there. Oxenchair, what a guy. Salads don't win scrums. He knows how to flip and do it. I love Ox. And he's another Ox. It's been going around on social media, but we took an Ox in 2007. We're taking an Ox 2023, baby.
Look what happened then, baby. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So then we're going to move over to hookers, and we've only taken 2, where it might seem controversial, but most squads have taken 3. We've got 2 absolute world-class hookers, Bongi Benambi, Malcolm Marx. Malcolm Marx, my favorite player. If you've seen it on my little bio there, he is incredible. He's come a long way because he started out not the best at throwing and whatnot, but that comes with time. And Bongi and him have just been vying for that position, but I suppose it's like a squad dynamic, and that's how it works with the Booker. You're not number 1 and number 2. You are the squad.
I think we've seen a nice little progression. 2019, the battle for the number 2 was quite hotly fought, and actually Bongi won it out fair and square. And Malcolm obviously coming on in the bomb squad and actually being able to play a lot of that final as well was great for him. But I think that has shifted, and a lot of people even maybe thought Malcolm was more of impact player, have changed their tune. He's just so good on the field. Nothing against Bongi. I think he's still playing a solid game. I think he's 100%. If he starts, there's nothing wrong with that. But Malcolm Marx has got to be one of the best hookers in the world now, and it's time to start him. It's time to start him, in my opinion.
He's the best hooker in the world. I'm going to throw it out there. He's the best hooker in the world. That's me saying it's my opinion.
We're lucky we can take two, because we're going to do the same as in 2019 with the Schalk Brits role with Dion Fourie, obviously the oldest Springbok ever to get capped at 35, picked to the World Cup at 36. Jeez, I'm 36 this year. Who knows what I can do? I'm on the But
I'm not going to be there. I'll be here at home watching.
Well, exactly. Look, absolute dream for him. We'll get onto him a little bit later, but heart's got to go out to Joseph Dweba. Look, I think Dweba's had a great season. Last year, a lot of people were getting on his back for a couple of skew throws. Look, yes, that wasn't good enough. I'm sure we don't have to tell him that. The player himself knows that is not good enough. He has had an amazing season at the Stormers. I think his confidence has grown and grown and grown under a team that really, supports their players and loves their players and helps them grow. And if you look at him in that first game this season in Australia, he came over 20 minutes, didn't put a foot wrong, threw some good line out. It's a shame that we're not taking three hookers, because he definitely would have gone. Look, the third hooker is a lot like the third goalkeeper. In football. He ain't going to play, but it's a shame that he's not going to get that experience, because he'll be at the next World Cup. He's young enough to do it. I think he's good enough by that point to have the experience. Real shame for the guy.
Yeah, I'm gutted for him, because I was one of those people who was on his back about his throwing being not to standard, but he's come a long way, like you said. Love the guy. I feel for him. He'll be there. Nothing to worry about, Joseph. We love you, man. Don't even stress, my friend. Talking about locks, again, we've taken, I think, slightly fewer than, we've taken 4. Some other teams have taken 5, but we've got that. That's the beauty of this pack. We've got so many versatile players. So arguably, I'd say the best lock in the world, potentially one of the best players in the world. Well, not potentially, he is. Eben Etzebeth, unbelievable. The guy is an absolute unit. Can't put a foot wrong. Gets super angry, but he uses it in the right places, and that's what you love about him.
That's the beauty and the violence of Eben Etzebeth. He is he's come on such a long way from his start of his career, where he was compared to a Bucky's Buerta at 4. But I love Bucky's, and I'd have Bucky's back every day of the week. Eben is a more complete player. He's got that aggression. He's got that attitude of that real dog that Springbok talk about. But he's a really technical player as well. He's really fit. He's athletic. He's fast. And he reads the game well. He makes his tackles, of course. He brings that aggression to it. But he is, dare I say it, a more complete player.
And I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree there, because I love Bucky. But I reckon Eben's learned from him, tweaked it, and made himself what he is. Best lock in the world. And so from Eben, Jean Klein. Lovely work. What a guy. He's done from South Africa to Ireland, back to South Africa. Welcome to the team, my friend. Welcome to the team. I'm so glad he's on the squad.
Absolutely. For those of you who aren't watching on YouTube, I've got a massive smile on my face. This is a guy who I watched at the Stormers and thought, Bok all day long. Went to Munster with Rusty. And look, fair play to the guy. Got called up for Ireland. I think he went to the last World Cup with Ireland. He got 4 or 5 caps in a really, really tough team environment. A team that's been pushing New Zealand for the last couple of years. And fair play to the guy. I don't hold it against anyone who goes overseas to make their mark. But what a dream phone call. You win the URC in your home stadium of Cape Town. You lift that trophy. You get Rusty on the phone, who took you to Munster in the first place to tell you can be a champion. To come, boy, we're going back in time. We're putting back a Springbok shirt. We're making your dreams come true. Let's get you on the field. You know what, George? He's been unbelievable. I think the biggest concern I had was number 4 lock going into this World Cup if Eben got injured. And he has been injured at times for us before. I don't have that concern anymore. I think Jean Klein is a complete player. He's also experienced, even though he's only got a couple of caps for the box. He's a journeyman. He's a hell of an experienced player. He's mature. We don't even need to worry about him.
No problem at all. Obviously, talking about locks, there is a sad point of Lurt being out. But our number 5 then coming in there is Marvin Ori. I'm really happy for. I'm a Stormers fan. I'm sad he's leaving. He's off to Perpignan. Enjoy the French weather and wine and cheese, my friend.
A little bit of wine there for the boy.
He'll be so sorely missed at the Stormers.
I think Marvin is a solid player. You know, when he's playing his best game, he's very much a good Springbok player. People get on his back for a couple of mistakes. I think that RG game, he played with his heart out. He absolutely went for it. Look, he made a couple of mistakes. People make mistakes. We move on. He's not going to let us down at the World Cup, I don't believe.
No, 100%.
And he was close to making it in 2019.
He was knocking on that door. He was so close. And then lastly, with the locks, a guy I'm so happy to see back, RG Snyman, the Viking. He's had I don't have any more beer, but what a champ. He's had a hell of a journey the last couple, I think 2 years or 2 seasons with his Munster move and the injuries. Must be the grass in Ireland or the lack of the
maybe the Guinness.
It could be the Guinness. I reckon there's something in the water.
I want to highlight something there with exactly what you said. I think it was 2.5 seasons that he played something like 60 minutes. Okay. I could be slightly wrong there, but it was a long time that he didn't play a lot of rugby.
Yeah.
For a club like Munster to support him through that progression of injury while he's taking a paycheck the whole time and he's getting free medical from the staff, world-class medical from the staff, and not being able to play, and then extending his contract, you've got to applaud the club for seeing the value in a player, not just for the caps he's bringing to the club, but the experience and what they see he can bring in the future. And he's never let them down. When he's on the field, he goes and wins trophies.
That's it. And you've got him and Jean who played together.
Fantastic.
Well, not a hell of a lot, 60 minutes.
Well, look, they've been in the same environment together. I think you start them any game and they'll be fine.
Absolutely. We're moving on to Lucy's now. A bunch that I'm quite like stoked for. Sia Khaleesi's back, baby. Well, I don't know exactly.
Captain, my captain.
Oh, what a guy! I finished reading his book the other day. It was hard to feel. I read it a bit of it on the plane. I read a bit of it at home. I read it on a train. I read it everywhere, and people looked at me thinking, "What's wrong with this guy? He's got a bit emotional." Anyway, I'm not pushing Sia's book here. I'm pushing Sia. Sia Khaleesi, welcome back, my friend. I'm so 100 and whatever days ago you had a knee off, and now look at you. Come on.
Look, he's the talisman for this team. Yeah. No doubt about it. Certainly one of them. I was like, yeah, but Sia is the heart and soul of South African rugby right now, and South African sport right now. I couldn't be prouder to have a captain of his caliber, of his compassion, the guy he is, the man he is, family man he is, and actually the rugby player he is. Because when he puts on that green and gold shirt, he turns into a beast. Look, for the Sharks, he plays nicely. The Stormers used to play nicely. Whenever he's one of those players that transforms when he puts the box shirt on, and I absolutely love it. Bring him back. Let's hope that knee's fine. You know what? You've got 8 games. Blow the knee out after the 8 games and go and sit in Paris for your recovery. But we need you for these, Sia. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Yeah, Sia with his, I've been trying to get the word in my head, but it's dominant tackle. He makes so many dominant tackles, and we have missed that a bit. We have missed that a little bit because when someone's running at Sia, he's not just going down, he's going back. And that's what. Anyway, he's back.
And I think I think his breaks actually as well. Look, sometimes you might say maybe he's loitering out towards the wing, but when he gets the ball, he makes a little break. I love it. Let's go.
Some sweet skills. Peter Steph-Toy, a previous World Rugby Player of the Year. You don't need to say much about the guy. He's an absolute workhorse, tackling machine. Yes, he's had a bit of downtime and not been himself. Guy's been through some troublesome times with injuries, and he's come back. You don't write him off. It's Peter bloody Steph-Toy.
And every game he plays, he's getting better. He's getting back to that. And even, you know, I'll take him on his worst day, quite frankly.
He can come visit me now. Come, Peter. I'm here in Leeds. Please.
Yeah, that'll be a hell of a bride.
I've got my bride ready. Right, then moving on to, got some versatility here. Crocker Smith. I'm so glad he's made it. I think I was toiled between him and Marcus and started making it, but they both made it. So I'm actually stoked they're both in the team because they're both. You've got Kwagga, who's obviously done sevens. He's been to he's a World Cup winner. He's versatile. If you ever had a problem with the 6-2 split, Kwagga can move to win because the guy's fast as hell.
I think, Kwagga's one of those guys that maybe it's not going to be everyone started, but look,
no.
I think everyone has him in the squad.
That's it. I agree. And then you've got Eskom, Marco van Staden, who then brings the opposite. I say the opposite. It's like the opposite to what Sia brings. But Marco runs, and he doesn't run at you. He runs through you.
He's an angry runner. He's an angry runner, and I love it.
I love it too. I'm so happy he made it. I was watching, because obviously I'm up here in Leeds. I didn't have the right channel, but I was watching Oxcroll had a live stream of the squad announcement, and I got onto that, and I watched it, and he was the first player out. I was working from home, lost my mind, jumped out of. I was like,
look, yes, I think the guy he went over to England. He had a bit of time with the Tigers. It probably didn't go as well as he'd like to have gone, but he came back to the Bulls, and talk about another guy who wants a box shirt. He just wants a box shirt, and you know what? Let's take him.
Give it to him, baby. And then the last two are big number 8. We've got Dwayne from Ireland, and Jasper Visser. Jasper Visser, if you just look at him, he's terrifying because he's missing a bloody tooth. And you just look, this guy's obviously waiting for the end of his career to sort that out. And I don't blame him.
I love Jasper Visser. I think he's an abrasive, strong, angry player, and I love it. Man. But the person I want to talk about is Dwayne from Ireland.
Yes, please.
Beginning of the year, I think me, along with a lot of other people, let's take him for the experience, maybe a player coach role. We love Dwayne. He's never going to let us down. The guy has been a demon in the matches he's played this season. He knows it's his last dance. He knows it's his last dance, and he's going to go out all guns blazing.
Oh, and it makes me so happy to see it. And I would, I don't want to say it too early, but I'd start him and let him just run riot over people because I love Dwayne from Ireland. He's older than me, and that's not many players older than me.
I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't be upset if he started. Look, I wouldn't be upset if Jasper started either, but Dwayne's at the moment more dynamic with his leadership, with his style of play, with his experience on the field. And Jasper, I think he's still maybe trying to find himself in the Springbok role. If Dwayne wasn't there, Jasper would be starting, and no one would bat an eyelid. I'm not saying anything against Jasper, but I think he's in that stage of his career where 2, 3, 4 years time, he's going to be what Dwayne was for us in the 2019 World Cup. 2019. But that takes minutes, and that takes experience, and that takes those damn losses to New Zealand every now and again, and the traveling all over the world with the Bokke and just proving yourself over and over again. But look, forwards look great. We've got some utility boys as well.
I'll run through them very quickly. We got Dion Free. We touched on it earlier. I'm so happy for the man. Like you said, it could be a Skulk Pitch role. It might not be a Skulk Pitch role. He's the third choice hooker in a way. He's just an absolute dog at the breakdown. He's the guy who's going to play. He'll be running with one leg. Like if he was injured, no, coach, don't worry. It's fine. I can run with one leg. He is a non-stop energizer bunny. Love the guy. And then you've got Franco Mostert, universal soldier. That's what the commentary they call him that. So he is. I feel a little bit for him because he's not been starting much lately, but we know what he can do. He's a World Cup winner, and he's versatile as hell. Love him.
Never gonna let us down. I think, if I'm honest, I like him a lot more than 7, but he's a hell of a good 7. I think when you win World Cups, you look at all the teams that won World Cup, they've got players who can adapt to different positions. So that's super important. Let's move on to the backs. Scrum halves, bit of an odd one. 4 scrum halves. Now look, we know there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors with Rassie going on here with Andre Pollard and Lekanya missing out through injury. Pollard, he's got the old ankle injury. He's been suffering really since the semi-final of the Premiership, but he's been back in training. He's coming on the tour. I'm not sure why he's not included. I think it's a little bit of games, and of course, Okanyo injured as well with his knee against the Pumas. Apparently, 4 weeks out. Let's see how we go with that. So we've taken 4 scrum offs. Faf de Klerk World Cup winner. I think he books his tickets automatically on the plane. I am not a Faf hater like a couple of people seem to be at the moment.
Yeah.
I think the games he's played this season, he's had good delivery. Look, his box kicking has been okay. I don't love that part of the game, but it's been okay. But I think he books his ticket every day of the week to the World Cup. Cobus Reiner, unbelievable season, gentlemen. He has come alive with a couple of starts, and it's been fantastic. I think against Australia, he showed the South African public what maybe we've been missing with him being overseas for so long. He's a solid starter. He's not just a fast number 9. He's a really good starter. And my opinion is he should start at the World Cup. I'm just saying. We then got to Jaden Hendricks there. Obviously missed out on his opportunity to start. Condolences to his family. His father passed away. So took a little bit of a break from the squad. Fair play. Look, ending last season, I think he was the best scrum off in South Africa. So 100%. no reason not to take him with, especially because we not only play in the 2023 World Cup, we also always looking at the 2027 World Cup. And you'd look at a guy like that and say, hey, that's a nail-on starter, in that World Cup. And then Grant Williams, he had a smashing couple of cameos in the Rugby Championship, and then that really awful incident against the Pumas in the first. I mean, what a start to your international career. Couple of really great Springboks that have been injured badly on their first start, that have done really well in their career. So don't, good for you, Grant Williams. One of the most electric number 9s in the game, not in South Africa, in the game.
In the game,
this guy, probably the only person who can run as fast as Cobus in the number 9 rank is Grant Williams. I just love what he brings to the game.
Man, with our 9s, there's a bit of a not a split, but there's you can differentiate between them. So Faf and I reckon Jaden are in the same category where they're quite clinical, box kicking, passing, everything's clinical, and that's their game plan. And then you've got Cobus and Grant Williams, who are quick, snipey, but like you just said, they're not just quick and snipey. There's a bunch of other stuff that they bring to the table. So it's pretty cool that we've got these 2 pods of scrum halves that brings different things.
You've got horses for courses. Who you're playing against. We, as a South African nation, we play a very structured game most of the time when we win. And that's why your guys like Faf and your guys like Jaden, they work well. But what we need every now and again is something to just ignite. And actually, Herschel Jantjies did that to us in 2019. He's been left out this year. He's in the supporting role. You feel for the guy, because I think he's actually not done much wrong this season. He's had a better season than he's had for the last 2 or 3 years. We've got 5 really good scrum halves, 6 if you count the number 9 from the Lions, Sanele. Yeah, exactly. We've got some really good talent at number 9. And when last did we have that in South Africa? Can you remember 2016 thinking, who the hell are we going to play at number 9? And all of a sudden, 7 years later, we're spoiled for choice, which is great. And somewhere we're not spoiled for choice at fly off. Obviously, we've talked about Andre Pollard. Mane Libbok has come in. I think we all know his goal kicking problems in the last game. I'm not going to talk about it. The guy will move on. I think he did really well to pull it back. So I think 2-4 in a row to end the game. He is an out and out fly off. And if anyone wants to sit here and debate that guy doesn't deserve to be a box, I don't know what planet you're on. The guy is an incredible player. The difference with him is he is a mercurial number 10. He is your Quade Cooper style number 10, your Marcus Smith number 10. And it's something that we're not used to dealing with as a South African fan base, right? We like your Andre Pollard, who straight in the line, kicks their kicks, defense as well, go forward, we win World Cups. We're not used to seeing this. Maybe in Elton Jantjies, we did in his prime. But I think Mane Libbok has the potential to go over and above that. And I'm really glad he's going to be the starting 10. If Andre comes back, I think he should start. Mani Lubbock is a fantastic player.
Yeah.
Damien Willems is, George. Damien Willems is the other 10. I think, let's take the goal kicking out of it. I know it's a big part for number 10. So goal kicking out of him. I've got no problem with him starting number 10. The problem is we don't have a goal kicker. I think he is great at number 12, which actually most 10s are really good at number 12, straightening the line, all the rest of it. It'll mean that we have more of a kind of probably working off the centres or scrum off straight to Willie Leroux on time, things like that. But I've got no problem with him. I don't think he was the reason we lost against New Zealand. I don't think he's a massive problem, at number 10. Would I start him out of choice? Probably not at this stage. We'll have Marnie, but I'm okay with him being there. And of course, I'm happy to have him in the squad. I think he's one of the best players in South Africa.
I love Damien Willems, Porus Boyke. What he brings to the game, he's got one of the best steps in the game. You give him the ball, and you don't know where the hell he's going to go, but he's gonna throw some flash in the pan, and pow, he's gone. Turn of pace, unreal. He can pass, he can kick, he can do it. Well, I say kick out of hand. Love him to bits.
Listen, he had some great kicks against the Pumas. Really good distance on it. I actually don't know the height of Buenos Aires, but the kicks were going. The altitude must have been good, but he kicked well. We'll move on to the centres. David Berlinda, I think, he is one of our, now, without he's our most experienced centre for sure, caps-wise, him and Jesse Creel. Damien, I think, has maybe slowed down in being the starter. I think he's never going to put a foot wrong. I think he goes out there and he plays hard for the box, but I think potentially, and for me, the most exciting selection here, Andre Estesen, been smashing it for the Harlequins. Out of sight, out of mind a little bit for the South African fans and the management, which is a real pity because he's at the peak of his career and he's unbelievable in the Premiership, which is a good standard of rugby. And I think he just needs time because he's been putting in a couple of situations with the box where actually he's only getting one game and, I've got to make everything happen now to prove maybe trying a lot. That guy needs an extended run at number 12 now. And this World Cup, it has to happen. I think he starts at 12 for me all day long. And a guy that, a little controversial, Jesse Creel. There's been a couple of Creel haters over the years. And I think mainly because he never gets started at 13, which is his position. He gets thrown in on the wing. He's a utility back. He gets brought here and there. His game against the Pumas showed how good he is, just as a solid rugby player and at number 13. And remember, he started the 2019 World Cup. Lukhanyo only came into replace him after he got injured in that first game.
Yeah.
Jesse Creel should start alongside Andre Estesen in the first game of the World Cup. I don't think that'll happen. I think the manager will choose Berlinda, but I think that's our best combination at the moment if we don't have there. If we have there, I would say Andre. Outside backs, Kirtley Irons, unbelievable. What is it? 10 tries, 10 caps. I mean, why not have two Jason Colbys? We're so blessed to have a player like Jason Colby, who's also selected, who's obviously one of the best players in the world. Absolutely unbelievable game breaker. And then you bring in a rookie, a youngster, second year in a box shirt, probably like third or fourth year in a professional shirt, that can just do everything. Absolutely everything. Just a scrum cap assassin.
The Power Rangers.
I was at the Power Rangers. Well, if we start both of them, I think they're going to have to start calling us the Power Rangers. You heard it here first. But look, I was there at Twickenham when him and Damien Willems set up the try, and he went and scored. And the wheels on that kid, and just the size to skill ratio. I mean, he's tiny, and he goes out there and dominates, and it's absolutely unbelievable. Jason Colby, as we've said, booked his own tickets. He didn't even have to wait for the Willie Leroux. Lots come out about him at the moment about being like the most. He sets up the most tries in the history of the game. I don't know.
For the Springboks. For the
Springboks, yeah. Look, Willie Leroux is a hell of a good player. Stop it. I'm just telling everyone, stop it. It's how I talk to my toddler. Stop it. This is not just.
Myself.
He has not put a foot wrong since he had a dangly arm in 2019, which actually I forgive him for because he won us the World Cup. Let's all get over it. He's going to be probably our next Springbok Centurion, and I cannot wait. He is one of the best fullbacks that we have ever had in this country. He sets up tries for fun. He runs that back line, and this is his swan song. Okay?
That's it.
Does he start every match? I don't know. But hell, I'm excited to have him in the team, and I'm just absolutely proud of him as a player and love the fact that he's made it in. Makazole Mapimpi, absolute legend. You saw the crowd cheering for him. Look, we've taken a lot of wings into this World Cup 5. Same as kind of the scrum offs. Do we need 5? Well, we at the moment we have the space with Lucanio out, and Andre Pollard out. I'm glad for Mapimpi. Is he our starting wing at the moment? Probably not. But is he going to score tries when you bring him on? Yes, he will.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then
try scoring machine.
He's an absolute machine. And last but not least, unbelievable. Canan Moodie. Screams JP Peterson in 2007.
Oh, man.
Youngster brought on the scene, plays his way into the squad, wins the World Cup, nice and tall, nice and fast, good in the air, good in his tackles. He's a solid player. He's an all-round player. And him and Arendse are probably going to be starting for us in the 2027 World Cup.
100%. If it's not, then I'm leaving. Canan Moodie, I was watching videos this week of him training in lockdown with a tire, and that's dedication and commitment. What was I doing in lockdown? I was going for like a little walk down the street. This kid was putting in the work. I learned, a lot of beer. But he was putting in the hard graft.
But he's one of those wonderful stories. You look at him and how he talks about being included, and this is his dream come true. And then you can see it all over his face. He's not someone, it's a dream to play for the Boks, and it's what I've been waiting for. This guy's like a kid in a candy store. He's a kid in a Bokke shirt. He is absolutely loving it. And you know what? That Pumas game got him on the plane. He 100%. Was fantastic. His break, his ability to go up and catch the ball, which, look, has been a problem this rugby championships and will be tested. People like to find one weakness in the Boks and think they're going to take us down, and they'll test. And it works for one game, and then we sort it out. Canan Moodie will sort it out. Does he start? I don't know. I would start him definitely against Tonga and Romania, and because he needs that game time as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
And then see how well he does in those, and whether he should be included in the rest of the squads going forward. If we make it going forward, we'll talk a little bit about that later. Okay, we're going to go into a little segment called George versus the Machine, where I've asked AI to ask a couple of would you rather questions, SA rugby related, of course, for George to answer. George, you ready for it?
I'm ready, baby.
Let's go. George versus the Machine. So, George, AI has asked you, would you rather score the match-winning try in the Rugby World Cup final or make the try-saving tackle to allow your team to win the World Cup final? We've had this before. We've seen it live. 2007, the Dinosaurus Rex, Donny Rousseau, Mark Cueto. Every Englishman thinks it's a try. Everyone with eyes knows it wasn't a try.
Not John.
Try-saving tackle wins the World Cup. Cheslin Colby, 2019. Dodgers Farrell, rounds, I don't know, who was it? Marla,
Vunipola.
Touches down, wins the World Cup.
Right time.
Would you rather?
Flipping out. That is, I don't like this question.
Kudos to the Machine. That's a hell of a question.
Yeah, well done, AI, whoever you are out there in the internet world. Sure. I think I would rather make the match-winning tackle.
Oh, a true forward.
I mean, can you imagine just absolutely mudding an oak into the touchline, and you're like, or whatever it may be, but you are the guy who's prevented whoever it is, you're like, oh, got you, sucker.
Well, I think there's, yes, I think absolutely. I think Donny Rousseau never buys a beer in South Africa ever again, right?
No.
But can walk around the rest of the world and probably not be recognized. But a guy like Cheslin Kolbe, all those fiery feet, the dodging, the diving, world-renowned player. Of course, Donny is as well. But Cheslin scores a try. He's the face of the World Cup final. He can't go out of his living room without people taking photographs of him.
He's got no chance.
I think probably lifestyle-wise, Donny Rousseau.
Yeah.
But actually, as someone who's not the best runner in the world, I'd love to just have that feeling of going a million miles an hour and touching down the track. I've only scored 2 in my career, so winning a World Cup with a try, with the third career try, would have been fantastic. No, great first question, AI. Good job.
Thank you, AI. Well played.
Next one is: would you rather have the leadership qualities of John Smith as a captain, or the game vision of Faria de Preer as a scrum master?
I love John. AI done me dirty there, but I'm a forward, right? And I love John Smith. I say I was a forward, no longer, past tense. However, Faria de Preer was one of the best rugby players that ever set foot on the field. And if I could have a fraction of his vision, and like that try against Wales, I know Dwayne Vermeulen is the one.
Unbelievable, round the back.
In 2015. But for him to then go, listen, Dwayne, he's up, and he's around the side, but try to. I mean, that's only just a little fraction of what he's done.
Yeah.
The guy is incredible. Was incredible. I mean, he still is incredible. Love Faria de Preer, and I would want that. Nothing against John Smith. He's won a World Cup, so is Faria de Preer, but I would take Faria de Preer. Sorry, I drew that out of it, but 100% Faria de Preer's vision. Because I don't have any vision.
And the last one's a bit of a doozy. Absolute doozy, in fact.
Here we go.
It's actually, I read it and I didn't know what I would answer, because AI got me in the cogs. Got me in the mind grapes, if you will.
Here we go.
Would you rather have the chance to meet Nelson Mandela and discuss rugby with him, or have a one-on-one coaching session with Rassie Erasmus?
Oh, bleep you, AI.
I am petrified of AI after these questions. That's a hell of a would you rather.
Oh, wowza. I'm so sad that's the question, because I want both so much. For Madiba to just have a sit and a chat with him, a chin wag, rugby related, would be incredible. Wow. And Rassie Erasmus is a rugby genius with his paddles on top of the stadium in his Cheetahs days, and when he was coaching Munster. Oh my gosh. Why? Just because I'm going to go with it, because maybe one day I will still get to meet Rassie. Who knows? But I would like to sit with Tata Madiba and just chat rugby for however long.
That, after reading these last night, that was exactly what I came to. I could still one day make the box and be coached by Rassie.
Come on!
Dion Marie's done it. I'm 35. I can make my baby before November.
We could just
go with Madiba, chinwag, cup of tea, maybe a beer, who knows? And what a ledge. That'd be absolutely amazing. Well, AI, you have done us dirty today. We'll continue that segment. However, questions coming up, we'll keep asking it as we go along. But let's move on to the build-up to the second World Cup warm-up game. Probably the more important one when it comes to actually the World Cup. The last one is a lot about selection for the squad. This one is about probably refining players and maybe our starting 15 to who's going to be the best guys going to the squad. So, look, what are you looking to see out of the box from this match? How important is this match of getting a win?
I said it's important because a lot of people say, and it's very, very true, you learn a lot more from your losses, right? But you don't want to come into a World Cup off back-to-back losses or whatever it may be, or even just any loss. So I think it's very important. Things have changed now that we know that Lukhanyo and Andre Pollard, I know that, well, Andre is traveling with the team. So things have to tweak a bit and change. So that changes a few things because now what you'd like to do going into the warm-up games or just before the World Cup is starting in my opinion, you start your starting team because you're giving them some time together again and they gel and whatnot. We don't have that now because everyone's mind, Andre Pollard and Lukhanyo were the 10 and 13 in the team. Unfortunately, we move on, and that's rugby. Rugby is a game where injuries happen.
Man up.
That's it, baby. So I would like to see a victory. Wales is a team that plays very similar to us. We've faced them in the World Cup semi-final last World Cup. And that was a hell of a battle. I mean, came down to the wire with a kick to win it. But I think we need to bring it to them. It's not always easy. I mean, they just beat England last week. England,
yeah, they did. I think that was a bit of a Welsh passion. 2 second teams punching it out. Cardiff takes the win. I think take nothing against them. That's a great start to your World Cup campaign after a really tough year for the Welsh supporters. That was something they really needed. I mean, a win against England for anyone, let alone Welsh, is one of the best days of the year. I mean, it's like win against England, Christmas, win against England, away or whatever. But they're a good team. They're a well-coached team. Gacklin's going to have some tricks up his sleeve. He's got a bit of vendetta as well for the box. So I think it's going to be quite a fun game. I agree with you. I agree. You've got to go in there starting your starters. Now, we've not done that through the Rugby Championship. So we've not got a settled squad yet.
Yeah.
I think Jacques probably knows who his starting 15 is, but now they need to play. We're not going into this World Cup unbelievable, form and favorites like maybe 2007. We were like, cool, we're one of the top teams. I think we're probably flying a little bit under the radar. So let's start building now and give us 10 games to get to our best rather than 7 or 8. And I think they are important, these World Cup games, World Cup warm-ups. I think, there's a hell of a match in Twickenham against New Zealand, which is going to be really tough to win. To go into the World Cup with 2 losses is not great for morale. I don't think it'll affect us too much, but it's not great. So I think you have to go out and you have to set your stall out against Wales, this is a game we should win. And then against New Zealand, go, look, now we battle and we see what we can do. Okay, because the Kiwis are playing well. So let's go on to who you would select.
Here we go.
Is this going for your starting team? Is this the guys you'd want to start against Scotland, or is it just the guys you want to start against Wales?
I'm going to say, I would love to say this. No, I'm going to say this is Wales. This is my starting team for Wales. But that does sort of trickle into what I would like to see in the World Cup, but it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And you know what? So be it. Let's hash it out. Everyone can come at me with daggers, whatever. But this is what I'm going to go with. So I'll kick it off with numero uno. Number 1, Stephen Kitsap, Spicy Plum. 2, Malcolm Marx, because he needs to start now, because 65 minutes of Malcolm Marx is beautiful. Nothing against Bongi. Frans Maheba, number 3, guy could scrum the legs of an elephant. He's a unit. Ibn Etchebet.
That's the same front row that I've got. I think you have to start your best front row now. The props have got to just keep on building on what they've got.
Yeah, and not taking anything away from the other guys, because they're all incredible units and rugby players. But that there's people that are slightly better than others. So that's the front row, a solid front row. Moving on to the 4 and 5, Ibn, every day of the week, Ibn Etchebet is the number 4, the enforcer. And our number 5 is Marvin Ory for me. They went through together, they gelled together, they played together. I think a bit of the Stormers, but they know each other. And Marvin's an out-and-out number 5, and Ibn's an out-and-out number 4. Put them together. Obviously, I would love to have seen Lurt there, but he's not there, unfortunately.
That's my first disagreement with you, my friend.
Oh, come. Anyway,
I think we need to go.
Okay.
Because he needs a little bit of game time with our Viking brother RG Sneeman.
Oof.
to start at number 5 because look, do I start him in the World Cup final if my other locks are fit? Maybe not. Maybe I bring him as an impact player. But does he need the game time? Yes, he does. You know, he's playing well, but he needs the game time. And a start at this time, I think is perfect for him. And give him 60 minutes. You don't have to play him 80 minutes, 70 minutes, whatever.
No.
60 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Because Evan will play all day because the guy's an absolute unit. Now this, I might be completely wrong here because I might have misjudged, but I don't know. Is Sia actually back?
I've got him on my team because from what I've been told, he starts.
Yeah, so Sia is back, baby. But now that's where it might be. Maybe it's a bad idea just to chuck him to start. Maybe Sia should come off the bench. But anyway, I'm going to start Sia.
I almost would rather play him for 20 minutes and then have someone else come on for 60 minutes than bring him on the bench. I don't know. Yeah. I just have a feeling that get him into that mindset of starting, get the boys into the mindset of having him on the bench. Look, remember 2019, he used to come off at 50, 60 minutes.
Yeah, true.
We used to him not playing the whole game. But that starting, that bringing the boys onto the field, I think there's something to be said about that. And I think, you know, if he's not there, look, maybe we get a little Escom in the house.
Ooh, Escom in the house. But yeah, he's my number 6. Peter Steph is number 7, and Dwayne Famila number 8.
Exactly the same as my selection there.
Don't get a pack like that every day of the week. That is an absolute pack. That's one of, I want to say, it's the best forward pack in the world. Other teams see that and go,
every single one of them, apart from Marvin Uri and your selection, played in the World Cup final.
Yeah.
And I think Marvin's not going to let anyone down, so I don't disagree with the fact that he probably needs some game time too.
No, that's fair. But that's the big boys, the first 8. Then moving on to the back line. This is where I had a headache because times have changed. And I just changed before we met today. I changed that because I had other players in there. Number 9, and again, I think people disagree. No, they won't disagree with me. Top to close. He's done it before. He is the number 9 that he's our go-to. I would have loved, in my back of my mind, I'm still fighting, thinking, no, Kerber should start. But I've chosen to.
I'm not fighting, baby. I've let it happen. I've let it wash all over me. Kerber is starting for me. I think he brings him and Mani Lebok, if they can get a little connection going over the next 4 or 5 games. Baby, let's go.
Okay, and this is where that's why I'm toiled. But yeah, Puff de Klerk, numero 9, Niefe. Mani Lebok 10. He's our boy. He's gonna and I'm keen to see him just grow like every game, week on week. With the Wales game, it's a warm-up game. So what do? Do you go for poles all the time? Or do you want to score tries? I don't know what the plan is, but because you want to practice, but let him practice kicking then. So let him kick for poles.
Listen, if you score the tries, he kicks the balls.
Well, there we go then. So let's go for the try time, bright time. So then moving on to number 11, I've gone Ches and Colby. Why not? And
that's where I actually disagree with you, my friend.
Oh damn!
I've got a why not right here. My why not is Cheslin has proven that you can put him in and he'll start and he'll smash the houses down. He's going to be the best player on the field, no matter what. Yeah. Does he need a warm-up game starting? No. Does our little man, Curtly Orenster, at 10 caps, need game time? No matter how good he is, he's a 10-cap box. If we can make him a 12-cap box or a 14-cap box by the time it starts getting really tough, those extra minutes are really important. So for me, you start the guy who needs it because Chesson doesn't need to start. Chesson will come and he will start every game of the World Cup and he will look like he's played every warm-up game.
Fair enough. That's a fair point. And I'm not going to argue with you. We all think differently, but my next one is gonna throw a span in the works. I say start Damon Willems at 12. And Andre Estres at 13. Andre, I think he plays 13 for Harlequin. I think he does. He
has on occasion. He certainly can play 13.
Yeah, and the reason, the method to my madness is, in my opinion, Damon's best spot is 12. That's my opinion, and he can distribute. If you had, and no disrespect to Damon Dallender, but then you would have 2 battering rams at 12 and 13. So you can't have him and Andre together. So you have to separate them. So I've gone controversial. I want Damien Willemse because he hasn't. I don't remember when last he played 12 for the Booker. I can't remember.
I think he's played it on the overseas tour a couple of times or shifted from 10 to 12. Listen, remember the season Storm was won the URC not so long ago. Played 12 most of the season with Marty Libach. That's not a bad shot.
No, and that's where I would love to see him play, but then you lose the element because he is our utility forward. I know, I mean, sorry, not utility forward, utility back. And I know what it's like being a utility forward, back, whatever you want to call it, because it was in my playing days, I was all over the show. I played prop, lock, hooker. I think I played flank a few times.
The ultimate utility should be on the plains of France.
Got Trevor, baby.
Look, I disagree with you there. I think, look, I wouldn't be unhappy if he started at 12, but I want Andre at 12. Andre the Giant is my 12, and hell, I want him to have a couple of games there and see what he can do properly. Okay. Back-to-back games, not once in a blue moon. I put Jesse Krill next to him because I think he won his spot against the Pumas. And I think he probably needs some time at 13. If we're not going to have I think he's the next one. I wouldn't bat an eyelid at Damien at 12, but also you might hear Damien in my team later, and he might come on and move to 12 at a different point. Or shift around.
That's it, and that's the beauty of this backline, with the group of backline players we have. Then on to the last two fellas in the starting lineup. I've gone Kane and Moody at 14.
Same as me.
There we go. He brings that high ball aerial battle. He's I don't know how tall he is. He's definitely over 6 feet.
He's a big lad.
He's a big kid, and he's so exciting. And in the game against the RGs, he was incredible. So,
and I think
that
to go on from my arguments of Curtly Aronson needing game time, I think Kane and Moody probably is more of a case that needs game time than Curtly Aronson. You know, he's got less caps. He's probably shone really bright on his couple of caps, but it's been less occasions. He's clearly really overwhelmed with being a Springbok. I think we probably need to normalize that for him a little bit. As much as I love the fact that he, was gushing about it before, that he was so excited to be a Bok. Normalize it for him. Get him 10 caps, by the time we hit the playoffs, if we make it. Because I think he's on 5 or 6 at the moment, if I'm not correct. But a game against Wales, I think, is perfectly suited for him. And again, what are you going to learn with starting a Mapimpi who could start any game? Nothing. You're going to learn that Mapimpi does what Mapimpi does, and he scores tries. And he's a great player. But Kane and Moody needs opportunities to grow. And I think this is a perfect time.
Perfect. And I don't disagree. And then we'll move on to my last, the man I love, Willie Leroux. He will be our fullback because he is a backline general, and I don't think you need to put anyone else there. You could arguably start Damien Willemse there if he chose to, but Willie, I don't know, I might be wrong in saying this, but I think he gains momentum game after game after game.
I think I'm probably a bit of a hypocrite from what we were talking about earlier, but I haven't started Willie. Because he starts for me. In the World Cup, he starts. I don't think we're going to learn anything from starting him, but I really enjoyed watching Damien play 15 against the Pumas, and I start him at 15, and I might move him to 12 to give him an option because he has the legs to play 80 minutes. And I've actually got Willie Leroux on the bench at my number 23 because I just think it's good to get the youngsters also playing with Willie a little bit towards the end of the game. You can cover a bit of 10 as well and things like that.
And then I'll fly through. I don't have to fly through them, but the bomb squad, we've got Bongi, because you need him. I know Joseph Dweba is coming up.
I've got Dweba. I've got Dweba on the bench. I think.
Now I want to change my mind.
Well, no, look, Bongi's at the World Cup. I don't disagree with him playing. But Dweba is the next man up, and we haven't invested enough time in him or any number 2 outside of those two. So I think the game time is really important to him. So I think you're taking him all the way to Wales. Put him on the field.
Yeah, let the guy play. Then Vincent Koch, Trevor Nyakan. Trevor's not had a lot of game time with the Bokke recently. Feel
I
for
do
him.
the props. 45 minutes, change them up.
Oh yeah,
Change the whole front row.
they're interchangeable. We're so blessed in the prop department. So, and Trev needs the game time. Vincent Koch, he's now going to the Sharks and he's just kind of swapped with Thomas Toy. But anyway, I would like to see those guys packing down in the bomb squad. John Klein then is my next one on the list. Needs more game time with the Booker. So let the boy play. Franco Mustard, I think just he's been not slightly out of form, or not out of form, just not exactly what we've seen before. Let him in, because again, you've got the versatility, you've got him who can play lockdown. Yeah,
that's a really good point. I've got John Klein, same as you, but I've got Dion Fourie instead of your choice of Mustard. I think probably for similar reasons. Dion probably needs some more game time, just to have more game time in the box shirt. And Mostert probably needs to play himself into form a little bit more. He's at, I would say, 80%, but we're so used to seeing him at 100%. Oh. I think I think, I've got no problem with you selecting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight about it, George.
Do you want, okay, I've got some gloves somewhere in this house. Anyway, we move on. Kocher, he's next on the bench. Again, I've mentioned it earlier. He's versatile. So with the 6-2 split, you've got a guy who then, I know it might sound daft, but he can play on the wing because he's played 7. Yeah. He's not the quickest guy in the world, but he's quick anyway, regardless, nonetheless. But he brings a fierce tenacity to the game. Yeah. And he's hardcore. He might get knocked on his back every once in a while, but he'll knock you right back again. So that's the beauty of him. And then I've done a 6-2 split. So Makazole Mapimpi on the bench, and Grant Williams as my 23. I feel so sad that he didn't get to play that game against Argentina. I think that changed the game. Well, I don't think
it would have been such a good game for him to play. Fractious, open, lots of darting, space to run. It was the perfect game for him. And look, we move on from that. I've also got him in my squad. I've got him at number 21, replacement number 9. For obvious reasons, he hasn't had the time we wanted him to have. He is our fourth choice scrum half. And if he's going to be dropped, we better know that he's not good enough to be in the team. Let's be honest. If someone else comes in, we need to know if Grant Williams is going to be the guy we drop or not. Are we going to? He's such a dynamic player. He's got so much pace. He needs that time that was allotted to him. And it does mean Jaden Hendrickson doesn't get any game time. I think we start him against New Zealand, or at least bring him on the bench then. But right now, I think Grant Williams. I have Cheslin Colby as our replacement wing / fly off / wherever you want to put him, full back. Because I've started Kirkley Arendse, just to give those cogs turning for Cheslin. And maybe if we're up towards the end of the game, do a do or die. Our number 10's injured. We've got no one else to go to. Who do we put in? Throw Cheslin in, or Willie Leroux, who's my last choice. And allow it to be mixed up a little bit, because both of them are truly versatile players. Yeah,
and I had originally I did put Jaden Henderson down because he hasn't had game time, but I changed my mind last minute.com. I was like, you know what, Grant Williams. We've seen Jaden play. He was the starter last year, so we know what he can bring. He does obviously need the match fitness, but I was again like I was with Eskom when he got announced. When I heard Grant Williams' name when the squad was announced, I was in the living room losing my mind. I was so stoked for him. So how about we talk a score prediction? What do you reckon?
Listen, I think the Boks are going to take it. I think the Wales team is just not quite strong enough if we play our best, and if we go with either squad that we've chosen. I think as long as we don't put a second team out, I think we definitely should win that game. I think Cardiff's a tough place to go. 25-18.
Oh, that is very similar to what I was thinking. I was thinking 27-20.
Oh, well, there you go.
So not far off. To the Bokke, obviously. To the Bokke. Come on, Bokke. So yeah, man.
Fantastic. On to the next segment. One of my favorites. We've been asking fans from our social media to send through stories from their life in rugby. A little segment we like to call "Oh damn, rugby, you nasty," which we decided on after we heard some of these these stories that came through. So George has got one that he got sent.
Yeah,
let's go.
I got sent. This is a perler. This is coming from the Dynamiters 4th team. So this is a team down in Cape Town that plays social league rugby for Hamilton. And I've played with a couple of these guys. No names have been mentioned, so don't worry. Whoever you are, you're safe. But yo, this man, this is quite a. Anyway, let's kick it off. So setting the scene. It's 2017, the maiden season for the newly formed Dynamiters. They're playing Paulsmoor RFC. Now, for those that don't know, Paulsmoor is a prison in Cape Town. So they're playing it at Paulsmoor. So you imagine that's quite intimidating. How's it I'm going to come play Paulsmoor prison?
Would be petrified. I saw a documentary about Paulsmoor once. I didn't even like to drive near Paulsmoor, dude.
They got a good restaurant, good burgers apparently. Anyway, I don't
want any of that meat from Paulsmoor. Thank you very much.
So the Paulsmoor team, Paulsmoor RFC, is made up of wardens, the prison wardens and players from the surrounding areas.
So not the prisoners.
No. Good Lord. It's like what's that movie called?
The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard. No, not prisoners versus wardens. That would be, it'd be a bloodbath. But the team is made up of wardens and players from around the area. To be honest, it was difficult to tell who was more rough, the prisoners or the players. The gents were already on edge given the environment. You can imagine rolling into Paulsmoor prison. They're being catcalled from the windows from the 28th. The 28th is the 28th is a gang. It's a gang.
Oh no!
So these catcalls could be heard from the windows as they drove through the compound and made their way to the field. Game starts, and the Dynamiters very quickly realized that they're going to run away with this game. Fast forward to the second half, and they've got an attacking scrum on the Paulsmoor team's 22. Their 8th man has moved to, so Dynamiters' 8th man's moved to lock after a tactical substitution. He's an older Afrikaans gent. This is about as much description as we get about this guy, so don't worry. Again, no name.
So this is a Dynamiters player.
Dynamiters player, 8th man's moved to lock. Tactical change. He's an older Afrikaans gent, built like a brick house. He's a big geezer. He packs down at number 5, and they get ready to bind. Now, again, it's 2017, so scrum binding calls are different. So the ref calls touch, pause, engage. Yes, those are the calls in those days. It's not miles off what it is now. Upon the initial push, you hear a loud rip. Everyone, they heard someone rip. So yeah, everyone gets up from the scrum, pushing themselves. Everyone except the new number 8. He's obviously number 8 back behind the lock. He's a man who looks like he's about to chunder. His face was in disgust. The number 5 lock had pushed so hard that he cut himself right through his shorts. Yes, the brown stain expanding quickly as time runs away. Without a second notice, the lock runs from the field to the nearest change room. Our coach had to quickly think on his feet and make another sub. They think this is the first and hopefully the last substitution made in rugby history for one cucking themselves.
A brown card, if you will.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't think.
That is the best story to start off on rugby, you nasty, because can you imagine pulling your head up from the ruck as a number 8, God bless this child's soul, with the mess occurring and the smell, absolutely disgusting. Cannot imagine myself in that position. Probably because I would have been on that bench, carrying the waters for the boys, making sure everyone's on oranges. But
Thank you, Dynamite.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Dynamite. It's absolutely brilliant. We've had some amazing stories come through. Please keep sending them. We will give you a shout out. And if you can beat that nasty story next week, it'll be absolutely unbelievable.
Tough one to beat.
George, we're going to close the podcast with another segment called Only Friends. Little play on words there, George. We're not charging you per view. We're not going to be showing us with our tops off, but what we are going to do is talk every week about the Rugby World Cup. We've got the pool of death for South Africa, Scotland, Ireland, Tonga, Romania, and South Africa. It's going to be a bloodbath. George, what have we got to do to build up in the next two games? What do you want to see from the boys?
I do not want to see cotton wool. I know we've spoken about it now, so don't wrap Oaks up in cotton wool. I want to see guys going in guns blazing because we want to be coming into this World Cup scary. And people do fear the box forward pack. I think people like to look at us and go, oh, their backline. Yeah. No, our backline is dangerous. It just needs to be unleashed. So I'm keen to see the boys play. We know that there's a game plan. There's going to be a game plan, and Jacques and the coaching staff will have it and would have delivered it to the fellas. It's a World Cup, so there's a way of winning the World Cup, and you play that. Maybe you could consider it a boring brand of rugby, but it's not to me because it's winning rugby, and you win the bloody World Cup, 3-time champ. So that's me. I say we go in guns blazing with a starting team and don't wrap guys up in cotton wool because there's another guy waiting in the wings to move into that spot, and so be it. We'll let the boys play.
100% agree with you. I think it's go time. I think we go pedal to the metal. We show the world that the Boks are still a force to be reckoned with. I cannot wait. I think we need to just secure combinations and go hard. I think that's the best way to put it. Fantastic, George. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the first episode of the SA Rugby Podcast. What an episode it's been. Please don't forget to follow us, like our content, subscribe to us on YouTube. Please send the podcast out to all of your friends. Spotify, Apple Music, any platform you can find a podcast, you'll find us. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a rating. Thank you so much, guys.